Hello everyone, welcome back to Grim Dawn. We're going to go on ahead and clean up the rotting croplands. Now, we did find what's-his-name's will, so we actually are going to be able to have that option, which is really nice. We're going to go on ahead and blast through these goons with our glorious ice damage. I'm taking a little bit of... my armor must be... I forgot how weak my armor was. Of course, they could just be, I'm assuming... yeah, abysmally low Aether resistance. Never mind, it's not my armor, it's my Aether resistance. We're going to probably have to use a potion for that in the future. But that's fine. We're just going to go on ahead and wander over here. Freeze all of you. Boom. Okay. There we go. What is my armor? 265. I've seen better. Definitely seen better. Alright. Whoop. Uh-oh. Yeah, I hate those things. Fair enough, though. Fair enough. I'm definitely going to need to boost my Aether resistance here. Do we have a... we do have Spirit Bane Ointment. Okay. That's good. So we'll probably just use that when we get there. Because clearly we have too low of an Aether resistance for this. 14% is definitely not good enough. So we'll just bolster that up. We'll bust this out now, and we'll just adjust the plan accordingly. So we're going to go on ahead and go west first. That's not really anything I need. Clear these two. Yep. Boom. Boom. There we go. And... hello. Might as well clear you guys out. Really quickly. There we go. Much better, much better. Come here. There we go. Perfect. Now again, there are some enemies that take, even if they don't get frozen necessarily, they'll still take damage from Alexra's Flash Freeze, and the Wisps, they're a prime example of that. I think they're the most visible example of that, because clearly they're taking the damage, but they're not getting frozen. Or if they are, it's just blending in, maybe. I don't know, but I've seen the large ones still take damage and still move like they're not frozen, because they're not frozen. They just... see, he took the damage there, you could see it. I'm hoping to showcase this as well with the Dermapteran Queen. Going ahead and get rid of these guys. Perfect. Go around this because great balls of fire. Alright. Boom. My pierce resistance is absolutely not up to par on this, I'm guessing. 50. No, my piercing resistance is good. That's definitely an armor issue then. My piercing resistance is good enough for that. It's got to be my armor. Alright. There we go. There we go. Clear this out. Open this chest for some nice free experience. What the beans? Alright. Don't care about that. Isn't there? No. Okay, so now we have to... well, normally I would go for the Dermapteran Hive at this point. However, because we've used a Spirit Bane Ointment, I'm actually going to go on ahead and take care of the Ethereal Amalgamation first, to try to take advantage of that Spirit Bane Ointment without, losing it. So we're just going to go on ahead and go to the road here, because that's the fastest way to, well, I can't quite say the fastest way, but it's the most consistent way. So we're going to go ahead and cut through here. That's not the road I'm talking about. We're talking about a different road over here. Alright, alright. We're stuck on enemies. That's delightful. There we go. I'm going to need to buy health potions pretty soon. Probably I'll want to buy some. I'll just rift back. Not only to set a rift, so that way it's easier returning to the Ethereal Amalgamation, but also so I can buy my delicious health potions, which I'm going to need. Just turn the corner so we can actually freeze these people. Boom. Grab this. There we go. Loop around here. I might as well take care of you guys. What the heck? We're at a comfortable level at the very least. We're not really in any danger of grossly exceeding where we need to be. So that's fine. That's fine. Let me see. We're just gonna... Yeah, this is probably just the easiest way. Wander on over here. We're about halfway done with our Spirit Bane ointment, so it should last long enough. Oh, it's it. One of you goons is a hero. That's unfortunate. We're just going to focus on you and use Alexa's Flash Freeze to deal with everyone else. There we go. Worked out quite nicely. Grab you. Deal with you. Yay! Actually, that was really well timed. I was just out of Constitution. Freeze. No, no, no. There we go. Thank goodness for passive lightning bolts. Alright, yeah. You guys are all going to gather around. We're just going to go ahead and gather you all up into one area. Boom! Get rid of you. We're going to come over here and get rid of you personally. Slap you guys down. Use a health potion. I didn't need to, actually. It was a bit of a waste, but that's fine. We'll be buying more pretty soon anyways. You're just going to die from the freeze, honestly. Boom. That was a bit close. Good enough, I think. And kaboom. I didn't mean to use a health potion there. I accidentally hit the wrong button. I was trying to use an energy potion. But that's okay. I have 52 energy potions. It's not like I'm short on those. Oh, hello. That's a bit of a problem. Now, notice. This is taking the damage. No, it's not. Never mind. That isn't. Never mind. I'm crazy. Get rid of that. Ding! Goodbye. Boom. Alright, we're going to grab this stuff, and then we're going to rift back for potions. Because I only have 3. None of this is good. Alright, potions first. Hopefully we can take care of this whole incident before the Spirit Bane potion runs out. That would be very convenient. We're going to go on ahead and talk to him so that way we can get the experience here just to edge us over to a level up there. Buy a nifty amount of... Get broke. There we go, good enough. Good. Alright, let's take on this chump. Got a couple of seconds left on the Spirit Bane, let's go! He's not affected by that, alright. Dodge and weave. Which I did so very poorly, by the way. Still very poor dodging there. Bobbing and weaving is not my specialty. Alright. Just gonna go around this. Oop. Not a problem. Yes, I have noticed my Spirit Bane ointment has worn off. That's okay. We're in fine shape. We're just going to dodge. Mostly for this guy, it's mostly just this attack here, the one where he's shooting out the shockwaves. That's the really dangerous attack. That's usually what's going to get you killed. If your armor is low, like it is for me, his melee attack is going to slap pretty hard, but it's usually going to take 2 hits to actually kill you. And you can usually create the distance you need anyways. It's that specific attack. That's really hard hitting. As long as you're not caught out in the geysers of Aether, you should be able to survive most of this guy. It's not really that big of a deal. Did you drop anything useful for me? Ah, cool. Great. Thanks. I've been really unlucky with the equipment today. My goodness. Oh, hey. No, that's interesting. That is good, just not for me right at this moment. I'm hoping to get a better version later on. It reduces my resistances too much, but it was closer than what we've been before. So, not bad. I still won't be equipping it because, like I said, it's going to kill my resistances. But it's a step in the right direction. I don't have Star Pact yet, so even if... At this point in time, it's terrible. If I had Star Pact, that would be more worth considering. But I just don't have that right now, so... Now I have to find the stinking Dermapteran nest. This is one of my... And this is the big reason why I hate the Rotting Croplands, is just because the Dermapteran nest is randomly located. I don't like that. It can take a little while to find the foolish thing. Personally, I'd rather just have it in one consistent spot and just go, on my merry way. I like random generation to an extent, but random generation for dungeons is not something necessarily I'm fond of. I have the same issue with Diablo 3 actually has the same issue. I know there's a reason for it. It's to, make it a little bit more unpredictable. It's to make your life a little bit more difficult. But it's a level of unpredictable. It's not like artificial difficulty or anything. I'm not saying that. It's just a bit of a pain. It's just an inconvenience, really. So here we are here. This is just going to be basically you blitzing through the glass cannons known as the Dermapterans. We're going to go ahead and back up here because there's a lot of larvae here. Or weevils. Whatever you want to call them. Technically, they probably are larvae. Like the larval version. Probably. Not exactly what I would call a bug expert. Boom. Alright. That's going to take care of most of you over there. Fair enough. Now, there is an area with a Lord of the Rings Gollum reference that we're not going to go down because I don't think I have the poison and acid resistance for that. What is my... I have 36. Yeah, no, probably not. Besides, the only thing down there is a shrine, which is nice and all, but like I said before, you go through enough of those throughout the game at the higher difficulties that you really don't need to necessarily be going out of your way for them at this difficulty. If you're really having a hard time and you don't mind the struggle, sure, go for it, but I'm not having such a hard time necessarily that I need that. Sure, I'm having some difficulties at this particular point in time because my equipment isn't exactly where I'd like it to be overall. Oh, that's actually nice. I lose some Aether resistance, though, but that might be worth it. We'll have to see later on when I hit level 36. But yeah, right now my difficulties are mostly due to just not having the equipment strength that I'd like to have. like I said, I've been fairly unfortunate, not just today, but overall with my character. There have been a couple of really lucky moments, but by and large, my equipment luck has not been great with this character, which it happens. I mean, that's fine. You just gotta adjust your strategy to compensate. There's just gonna be less face tanking. There's gonna be more adjusting to the situation. Oop. Alright, and then you're just gonna freeze to death. That's fine. So that's all that's really gonna be different there. But we don't really need the shrine necessarily at this particular point in time. Alright. Whoop. There we go. Boom. We're actually going to come back and take care of you really quick. We're going to use a health potion. We're going to freeze you. We're going to get rid of you. And then that takes care of that little issue. Good. Good. Alright. I really need Maven's Sphere. That would help me survive a lot better. Although I'm still kind of fiddling around with my build as time goes on, depending on what I've got in terms of equipment and stuff. Like I said, like I said a couple episodes ago, if I remember correctly, I'm not going to be keeping the Frost build. It's going to depend on, you know, what happens with my equipment later on in the game. It's all a matter of just using what you've got on hand that really works out, equipment-wise. I just happen to have a lot of cold stuff, which is fine. Cold builds aren't bad. A lot of people hate them because a lot of people hate Electro's Flash Freeze because it tends to not necessarily be as effective against a lot of bosses and stuff, and that's fine with me. Like I said, there's a point to every ability, and I've got my Sky Shard, that's it. I've got that for boss damage, so I'm fine. I use Electro's Flash Freeze, like I said, is primarily wave clear. Now for this, we're going to want to clear this area out ahead of time. If you haven't fought this boss before, this is a fairly interesting two-stage boss. The first stage does not move, which is fairly interesting. The second stage slaps really hard. Also, this is one of the few bosses where the damage type changes really considerably. The first stage, which you're going to see in a minute, Poison and Acid. Sure, she does physical damage when you're in melee range, but most of the time you're not necessarily going to be in melee range, and she's going to be hitting you with the Poison and Acid from a distance. So that's her primary form of damage for most people. And then she becomes mobile, and then starts absolutely slapping you with physical and pierce damage. So it is really interesting in that regard that she just kind of turns around and completely changes her damage type, which makes her unusually challenging, because you have to kind of prepare for two different things. Actually, do I have a... I don't. Alright. I was going to say, do I have an anti-venom? But I don't have an anti-venom. There's the poison. I'm going to come up here and get rid of this guy first, so we don't have any kind of potential interference. She also only summons minions in the first stage, which is also very odd. She doesn't summon minions in the second stage. But this is also another one of those times where having Electro's Flash Freeze is really nice, because you can clear these guys out. Okay, she's real. My armor is not good enough for that. Alright. Of course. The constant struggle. I've been working with this for quite some time. This is partially because of my class combination, actually, my low armor. Generally speaking, this isn't like a hard and fast rule. This is just a general rule of thumb, so don't take this as like gospel truth or anything. But each class has I guess, themes to their equipment, or specifics to their equipment. Magic and I use that term loosely, more magic-y classes like the Arcanist and Occultist tend to use softer, more magey armor. They tend to have energy regeneration involved somewhere on their armor pieces as well. And they generally tend to have lower armor values than, say, a soldier's typical equipment. Now, again, there are exceptions to this. This isn't a hard and fast rule. It isn't even that unusual to find hard armor that does bonuses for occultist and everything. But because of the general emphasis of Arcanist and Occultist armor to be on the, again, magier soft armors, you're generally going to have a little bit more of a armor problem with masteries that do focus more on magic damage, like Arcanist, like Occultist. It just depends on your luck, really. And this is the part, by the way, where, in my opinion, she's actually easier because you can just kite her around. The occasional rock will hit you for pretty big damage, but that's just plain old physical damage, so if you've got a good amount of armor, it's really not that big of a deal. It would be a big deal for me because, as I just finished discussing, I can't speak today, I don't have the kind of armor values I'd like to have, but still, it's pretty easy to kite her around. She's not particularly accurate with her melee attacks because she has just enough of a windup where you can generally pop off an ability or something and get out of range of her claws before she actually lands the hit, which is really nice. The number of times I've been able to face tank her in this form, though, is I can count on one hand. I believe the only time I successfully did so was with a slightly overleveled Soldier Oathkeeper combination. I generally have not been able... Oops, let me click the wrong place on my screen. That's fine. I generally have not been able to ever face tank her, but that's fine. Did you drop anything useful? I've been having... Okay, no. Sure. And we're just going to riff back to Homestead for this, and report on our quests, and we'll call it an episode. But yeah, not really too much problems since I used my Spirit Bane Ointment to compensate for my abysmally low Aether resistance. Oh my goodness, that was terrible. I should have checked that before going out there, to be honest.
There was much I see that my scouts have reported back.
Yeah, and then we get to level 34, which is delightful. Going ahead. Now, I just almost always pick... Okay, here's an interesting thing that... Because I actually want to have a conversation about this. You should generally be picking the side that drops the equipment you want. So, for me, I do elemental damage. I can theoretically do well with either of these. Alright? I'm not sure which one I want to pick. Because I'm not sure what my endgame build is going to be. If I'm going to be doing fire damage, if I'm going to be doing cold damage, what the story here is. I suppose it really doesn't make a difference in the long run, except for reputation. It would be a pain in the neck to go back and change the reputation with one or the other of these. I guess it's 50-50. I'll just go with the Necromancers. In this particular case, it doesn't really matter, but if I was a Oathkeeper, for instance, I would actually want to side with the Necromancers because these guys, the Kimmins lunatics, they drop stuff for Oathkeepers, they drop stuff for Demolitionists, they drop stuff for Soldiers. So if you're one of these two masteries, you want to be against them because you can't buy that equipment off of them, you have to kill them for it. Okay, which is a really weird thing. Just like if you were a Necromancer, you can try, I don't remember if they ever changed this where you can be... I think you might have to wait for that. But if you know you're going to be a Necromancer and you want the Necromancer drops from the Necromancer people, either you're going to have to wait until you get to the Shattered Realm and kill random ones of those and hope... Well, no, because they don't even drop equipment in the Shattered Realm. You're just going to have to wait until the Shattered Realm and hope that you get the Monster Infrequents, which, you know... Not really likely. I don't even know if Monster Infrequents drop from the chests in the Shattered Realm. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. It's been too long since I've been... My vacation has made my brain mush. I can't remember. But overall. No, we need the Aether Resistance. We'll go ahead and get Overload first, then we'll go for Maven Sphere. That's fine. But yeah. Overall, if you want the equipment from a specific group, you should side against them. Which is a really interesting reversal of what you would normally expect. But yeah, with that being said, thank you all very much for joining me. If you like this, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, please ignore me. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, suggestions, or requests, please leave them down in the comment section below. And thank you all very much for joining me, and have a great 24 hours.